Hi, everybody. Welcome to the highly anticipated re-recording, reproduction of the Transferring Classes into USD webinar. My name is Scott Thomas. I'm the Assistant Director for Academic Services at USD. I'm going to talk about the process, the protocols, the benefits that you can achieve by transferring a class into USD after you've started at USD. This is a fantastic idea, and I'm glad that you're watching this because is so many benefits to this. The policies have changed to be more flexible for students. So for example, an online class, you can transfer in, a hybrid class, you can transfer in. As always, an in-person class, you can transfer in outside of USD. So let's get into it. I'm going to talk about the benefits, the policies, the processes that you need to follow, the research that you need to do, the decisions that you need to make, the recommendations and advisories that I have for you. I will do a demonstration. I can't take your questions in this format, obviously, but if you have questions, you can always reach out to myself or Joanne or Antoine or whoever it is that you work here in athletics to get some support, or your academic advisor too. They're so helpful in doing this. So like I said, a lot of great ways to catch up or get ahead with your degree requirements for your major, your core, or just elective units. Or you can catch up and get ahead for your progress towards degree for your NCAA eligibility requirements. So as a reminder, after your first year, it's 24 degree applicable units. After your second year, 50. After your third year, 75 degree applicable units. After your fourth year, 100 degree applicable units. That is the 124 unit programs, not the 147 engineering. They're a little bit higher still, so might even be a better idea if you're an engineer. It might also be a good idea if you're just trying to isolate a tough class. So if you struggle with math, but you want to be a business major, you can transfer in your calculus requirement. If you're trying to finish off your language core sequence, you can do that here too. We're going to talk about that. Or if science with lab just takes up too much of your schedule and you're in season and you just don't have a good time to do it and your practice stuff, you can do that as well. There's a financial benefit too. So USC is a very expensive school. If you are not 100% covered by aid, you might be responsible for making this stuff up on your own. So it's just going to be, frankly, cheaper than USD to transfer a class in, especially if you're going the community college route, okay? So all good benefits here. These policies all apply to you after you've started at USD. So if you transferred in, these policies are not talking about any of that pre-USD stuff. This is only once you've started at USD, okay? So after starting at USD, a maximum of 18 units can transfer in total. I actually thought this maximum was very high and very flexible for students. That's good news for you. Of those 18 units, a maximum of 10 units can transfer in for core requirements. And that refers to the classes that carry that core requirement, not necessarily anything in the sequence for that. So Spanish 101 equivalent, not a core class. Spanish 102 equivalent, not a core class. Spanish 201, the level 3 class, that's your core class. So that would count towards this 10. That one would count for this 10 only, where the 3 classes, if you transferred them all in, would count for that 18, okay? So also, you must adhere to the maxima for the units per term, and that includes anything that you're doing concurrently at USD. So it's 18 units in the fall or spring semester. An example, I'm taking 16 units in the fall at USD. I wanted to do 3 units at San Diego Mesa concurrently. That is 19 units. That's more than 18. That exceeds the maximum. Therefore, I would need an override approved, or I would take fewer units at USD, or I would take fewer units at the community college, right? 4 units in the intersession in between the fall and the spring semesters, 13 total units in the summer. If I am classified as a senior, or I will be classified as a senior at the time of this transfer class, meaning I have 90 or more earned units, I would need a waiver of residency because the residency policy states that the last 30 units must be taken at USD, okay? And I'll show you where that is as well. The process is long. There's a lot of hoops to jump through, but I'm going to help you with this every step of the way. And you can also refer back to this video at any point. If you're like, hey, I forgot what's that part in the transcript, whatever, you can refer back to this. This is your resource. I'm recording this so that you can access it on demand, right? So first thing you want to do You want to identify your USD requirement or requirements that you want to fulfill via this transfer course. We're not just going to take something random, right? So maybe it's your calculus or your language or your science or lab or something else. You're going to want to search for equivalents in our USD database. I'm going to show you how to do that, but there's a lot of classes here that have been pre-approved as equivalent. I recommend you start there to save yourself a step, to remove one hoop that you need to jump through in order to get this transfer credit going for yourself, okay? You will need to research the community college enrollment, registration, class info policies. That's going to be your next step. You will need to start and complete your USD paperwork. That's your transfer petition, your waiver of residency if needed. Next, you would submit that and it goes through approval by the USD admin. That's usually your assigned academic advisor and the department chair of that class that you're seeking credit in. Then once you get that approval, once you submit that, if it's pre-approved, you can register into that community college class. You will need to complete that class with a C- or better. That will be your final grade, a C- or better final grade. You cannot take it pass fail, okay, or won't transfer in. Once your final grade is posted, then you will need to order your official transcript from that school, from that community college, that transfer school, to be sent to USD's registrar's office. So they're telling us, hey, yeah, this student completed this grade, they completed calculus over the summer, they got a B+, here's the official transcript of proof, okay? It goes to USD's registrar's office, registrar@san-diego.edu if it's digital, not admissions. Okay, if your school that you're looking at uses parchment, the USC admissions office always pops up. You need to change that to the registrar's office. So important, or you won't get your credit, okay? Once the registrar receives that official transcript and they see that you have your paperwork, they're gonna look at that, say, okay, yeah, this all looks good. They're gonna upload that credit to your degree works, okay? Pro tip, just give the registrar a heads up so that they know to look out for it and they can tell you if they don't get it. That's such an important part because they don't know what they're looking for all the time. They don't know if they're expecting stuff. They don't know if you end up taking the class or not. So once you send your official transcript over, I highly recommend just to the general registrar at San Diego email account. Dear registrar, my name is so-and-so. I just sent this official transcript over from this school. Please be on the lookout. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you don't receive it, thank you very much. That's all it needs to say. And it can definitely help save you a headache and some time and some money. So the first thing, and really the only thing I need to say about looking at these other schools, things are different at different schools. Each school is like their own little ecosystem of policies and timelines and classes and everything like that. And you need to do your research, okay? So you need to look at what they have in terms of their terms and their dates. Some schools, for example, just straight up don't have an intersession term. Some schools that do have an intersession, it bleeds into our semester. So you need to be aware of that before you register, okay? Some schools have different registration policies for certain classes, and you need to adhere by those if you're wanting to take a class at their school, right? So generally speaking, you'll need to enroll or sign up for that school. You'll need to sign up for that class. You'll need to pay what they require you to pay. And you'll need to do that on their timeline to get your credit going, right? The good news is that remember that these schools generally have counseling, advising, admissions offices of their own, just like USD. So if you have questions for them, definitely ask them. See if you can get in touch with somebody. See if you can call, or if you can show up, and if it's close to you, and just see if you can get your questions answered and someone can help guide you. Just like myself here at USD, there's people like me that work at other schools that can help you with all this stuff too. Finally, a little funny little nuance. If a class is a prereq for a USD class in your upcoming term, you can contact the College of Arts and Sciences, Shiley Marco School of Engineering, or the Canal School of Business Advising for registration help. So an example, if I'm a business student and I'm doing calculus in the summer, and I want to do stats in the fall, well, I happen to know that calculus is a prerequisite for stats. So if I want to register for stats in the fall and I'm doing calc in the summer at a community college, the USD registration system isn't going to know about that, and it's not going to let me register. So I'll need to go and talk to a Canal School of Business advisor for what's called a registration override for that class. Same would apply for anything in the School of Engineering or the College of Arts and Sciences for any course prereqs, or if this is going to bring me over a unit threshold prerequisite or class prereq, that's what it's called. I can talk to them to see if they can give me an override based on the fact that I'm doing this class prior to the term that we're impacted by. They may ask for proof because they're doing their due diligence, but you doing your due diligence, you'll be able to provide that. So the decisions you'll need to make. First off, when am I going to do this? Summer is the most common because you have the most time, about 13 weeks in order to do a class. It's the most commonly, there's more classes offered by the schools during that time. There's a lot more options for you. Spring and the fall, you know, you might be in season. You might just be busy with your other USD classes or whatever else is going on. And intersession is good too, but since it's only 3 weeks here at USD or 4 weeks or whatever, it's just not a lot of time to do it. And like I said, some schools don't even have an intersession. Some schools don't have a lot of classes during that intersession. So usually summer's the most common one, in my opinion. Where are you going to do this? It's okay if it's online. And when that happens, I mean, you can take the class anywhere, right? But if a class is hybrid or partially online or fully in person, you can still do a fully in person too. There's nothing stopping you from that. You may want to pick a school near you, or if you just want to go and ask questions, right? Like it just might be better for you to pick a school near you for all those reasons. So generally though, I mean, I recommend the San Diego community colleges. That's San Diego Mesa, San Diego City College, San Diego Miramar, which are all in the same system, by the way. So Mesa City, Miramar, Miracosta, Southwestern, Palomar, Grossmont, and Cuyamaca, which are also on the same system as each other. These 8 schools have the most articulated course catalog. So we have the most equivalence with the courses offered at those schools because they're the closest to us and we see the most students from that school, okay? So I recommend that you start with those schools especially if you're going to be in San Diego when you're taking this class. So we talked about when, we talked about where, and finally it's the what. Which class or classes would be the most beneficial for me to isolate in this summer intersession, whenever, okay? So some recommendations and things to be advised on is to find a pre-approved class. That is a recommendation, not a requirement, but that's just going to save you an additional step or just make things a little bit easier for you. Next is to give your academic advisor a heads up so that they can give you advice if something's happening or it's something you need to look out for, et cetera, et cetera. They may have some good advice for you as well. And also when you submit your paperwork, that's going through them. So you want to give them a heads up too. Hey, I'm going to submit this and I've done my due diligence. Please be on the lookout. Definitely stay within the policies, do what's required of you to get the credit for this. I've had a lot of students in the past, not a lot, but some students in the past that don't do what they're supposed to do. And then they get frustrated and angry and upset because they've wasted their time and their money because their class that they thought was going to count didn't count. So do not let that be you. Do your due diligence, all this stuff. Do your research on the community college websites. You can do this together with teammates or friends, right? That's just a good idea to help team up, making sure that you're all staying on track with this stuff. You're taking the class together. It's just generally good advice to help keep you accountable and everything like that. This last tip is a little funny, and I'm going to talk about it for a sec. If you're doing language off campus, finish your language off campus or keep it off campus. Okay, so an example is the core requirement here at USD requires you to complete at least a level 3 or 3rd level language class. Okay, let's say I'm looking to do level 2 in the summer. I do level 2 in the summer at Mesa College, let's say. It's a good idea to also do level 3 in the summer or the next intersession or whenever at Mesa College, or continuing to do it off campus if possible. It's a much worse idea to try to come back to USD after doing level 2 and then try to do level 3 at USD. I've seen a lot of students struggle with that, or they've had to drop level 3 outright, or they've talked to the language department. They said, you don't know level 2, all the level 2 stuff yet. You're going to take level 2 again. So they've had to do level 2 again. So don't let that be you either. So if you are doing language off, keep language off, okay? Other advisories, things to avoid, upper division courses or course requirements, for the most part, that won't work. And community colleges, by the way, do not offer upper division courses because they're 2-year institutions, okay? Avoid the unique USD cores such as level 2 diversity, FDD2, FDG2, first year integration and advanced integration because they will not transfer. Okay, so avoid those unique cores and avoid going rogue, hoping for the best. Already talked about that. Do what you're meant to do for the process, for the policies, et cetera, et cetera. I guess we'll get into the demonstration here. So it's going to be on your My Academics page, the My Academics tab of the Torero Hub of the My San Diego portal, okay? And you're going to want to navigate to the transfer credit / articulation area of this, and you'll see the resources that we have, including the waiver of residency form if you need it, and the request for the off-campus class. This is the access, these two links help you access our database, okay? And there's two ways you can search the database. One is by the external institution, so the transfer school, and the other is by the USD course number or requirement. So the first way I'll show you is by the transfer school, okay? So let's say I wanted to do, I'm going to throw it back here, between my freshman and sophomore years of college, when I was in college, I went off to a transfer school called Quincy College, Quincy, Massachusetts. Shout out Quincy, Massachusetts. And did a microbiology class here. Okay, so if I'm a USD student, I want to do a class at Quincy College. Okay, here's Quincy College, Quincy, Mass. That's the school. I'm clicking on that. Oh, shoot, there's not a lot of classes here. Okay, there's only these 4 classes here that have been articulated, and none of them are the one I'm looking for. So what I could do is look somewhere else. What I could also do is, and it says it right here, if you don't find the subject course you're looking for, then you can request the course to be evaluated using the transfer credit articulation form. Okay, it's a longer process and it requires additional approval from the department chair. But if I really needed to do that for whatever reason, if I can only take this one class over summer at this one school, I hope it's not your case, but if it is, I would then get to fill out this full transfer class articulation. I am asking for equivalency to a specific area. There's a lot of fields to fill out. Oh, shoot. Okay, never mind. Let's look for something else. And that's how I search by school, by the way. So if I'm going to say, you know what, I'm just going to do Gen Chem 2 instead, I can click on this one. I can see here that it's going to count for the science and tech inquiry area core attribute. That says it right here, okay? That's a really important step. I'm seeing what it's equivalent to, what it carries the core of science and tech. That is what I'm looking for, let's say, okay? So now I'm going to click request approval. It's going to bring me to the much shorter version of the transfer credit petition because this class was already approved. It has most of the forms or the fields from that previous form that I showed you. It's pre-filled out because it's already approved. So it already has what is defined as the USD equivalent. It's core, science, and tech inquiry. Beautiful. That's what I wanted. It's Chem 122. Okay. So let's say I'm going to do that, and that's what it counts for. I'll just enter in the dates, and I'll look at all of these bullet points and check off all the boxes. What does it say here? Okay, maximum of 18 units. Oh, these are the unit maxima. Okay, I already know about this. And let's say it's my only class for the summer. Great, I'm going to check that box. I can do a maximum of 10 credits to fulfill core requirements. Great, I understand that. If I'm a senior, I also need the residency requirement policy waiver. Okay, I don't need that. Check. Cannot take this pass fail, C- or better. Okay, great, check. Maximum of 18 total units to transfer and after I started USD. Okay, great, check. Okay, so that's what this form says. If I was really looking to do this class at Quincy College, now would be a good time for me to go to the Quincy College website and make sure that they're offering Chem 122 over the summer, and then I can sign up for it. Okay, I might bring these things side by side. I can go to the Quincy College website and start to do my research in that regard. So I'm going to need to look at the academics here and probably see something that helps me see what the summer schedule is. The time that you're watching this video, you might need to go and check back because the summer schedule might not be ready yet, okay? So remember, the schools are their own entities, their own businesses, whatever, and they're going to do things on their timeline and not ours, might not align with ours. So you're just going to need to look at that, okay? So as I was looking for the chemistry, one here, I would need to look for that and make sure that it was offered in the time that I'm looking for, okay? Let's say that it was, then I would come back and click submit, sign up for the class. Now I'm signed up, I'm ready to go. So if we go back, let's close out of all of these. If we go back to this, let's say I'm searching by a different external institution, by the way, and let's just say I'm looking at Palomar College now. I decided I'm going to be around San Diego. I'll be close to San Marcos. Let's look at Palomar College. Oh, wow, there's so many more classes that are pre-approved. That is why earlier I recommended San Diego City, Mesa, Miramar, et cetera, because we just have a more articulated understanding of the equivalence of all of their classes, okay? And I could use this to find what's available, what's equivalent. I could look at this side by side with Palomar College and see what they're offering in the summer. And if I'm curious about how that articulates in to USD, so here, for example, is Math 140 Calculus Analytical Geometry 1. I'm like, okay, that sounds like what I need. That sounds like calculus, right? Or let's look at this one, Math 130 Calc for Business and Social Science. I'm a business major, let's say, and I want to do this calc for business. Okay, that sounds like what I need. Let's click on the math here. Okay, yeah, great. It's equivalent to Math 130 at USD, which is the requirement for the major. It also carries this math core. Perfect, beautiful, just like Math 130 here, like Survey of Calculus. Now I'm going to request that approval, and it goes through. So that's the benefit of looking at the closer San Diego regional community colleges. There's going to be a lot more classes to pick from that are pre-approved. So if I'm doing it a different way, I don't care where I go, I'm just trying to get something done, I can search by the USD course number or the core, okay? So the first way is the course number. So let's say I wanted to find something equivalent to third level Spanish. Say I'm confident I'll be able to take third level Spanish. I can just click submit there. These are all of the classes from all the different schools that have been articulated as equivalent to our Spanish 3, Spanish 201, which is our Spanish 3. These are all the schools that have all those classes. So no surprise, there's a lot of them close to San Diego, Cuyamaca College, Grossmont, Miracosta, Palomar, okay, Mesa, et cetera, et cetera. So if I wanted to do that, let's say I found the one at Palomar I wanted to do, very carefully make sure I'm clicking the right one, request approval. It's going to bring me back to this with everything filled out. It's the same way, right, that I showed you earlier. So that's how you find something by course. Let's do another search. Let's say this time I'm just looking to find something that fulfills the philosophy core. I will type in the philosophy core code, which is FPHI. Click submit. These are now all of the classes that USD has articulated as equivalent to the philosophy core at USD, okay? So that's how you search by core attribute. Very good, okay? So that's really, after that point, I'm off to the races. I'm gonna sign up for the class at the other school, et cetera, et cetera. If I need the waiver of residency, it's right down here. I would fill out this PDF and send it to who it says to send it to, which I think in most cases is the assigned academic advisor. Just follow the instructions on that and you'll be good to go. So let's not open that up right now. But as we get back, that's the demonstration. Do your best, do your research, ask questions if you need to. It's so good. Refer back to this video if you need to. It's such a good idea to do this. It's such a cheat code in so many ways to do this, because it just helps you with your progress, helps you graduate on time. You can maybe now take one fewer class when you're in season, so on and so forth. So thank you for watching. Reach out to me or to someone else that you work with in academics to get your questions answered. And that'll be it. Thank you.